in Bhaishya Kalpana, and basic principles of Aushadha Nirmana in Rasa Shastra, and finally, the Apakva Seva doshas, which are mentioned in Rasa Shastra. So the basic principles of Aushadha Nirmana of Bhaishya Kalpana we will learn first, and after that we will move on to the Rasa Shastra basic principles. That is, the basic principles of Rasa Shastra will be Shodhanadi process. So that will start with Shodhana, Marana, Amartigarana, Sattvopadana, and Jarana and Murchana. So, if the process is not done properly, that will lead to Apakva Seva doshas. And we will end the today's session with Apakva Seva doshas. Okay. So, let's move on to the first topic. In Ayurveda, the compound formulations are divided into two. That is Kashta Aushadhi and Rasa Aushadhi. The Kashta Aushadhis are predominantly plant drug preparations which are dealt in Bhaishya Kalpana. Rasa Aushadhi is predominantly metal and mineral preparations dealt in Rasa Shastra. Further, the Chikitsa is divided into three. That is Deva Vivashraya, Yukti Vyabhashraya, and Sattvavajaya. So in the Deva Vivashraya, the chanting of specific mantras, worshipping specific gods, and wearing sacred beads and threads are followed. And in the second type, that is Yukti Vyabhashraya, that actually includes the drug therapy or non-drug therapy. So the drug therapy is the Bheshaja therapy. And the non-drug therapy will be the Patya Ahara and Vihara, regulation of lifestyle by Vihara and Ahara. So coming to the Nirukti of Bhaishya Kalpana, first is the Bhaishya, the term Bhaishya. So the Nirukti of Bhaishya is Bhesham Roga Vayam Jayati Iti Bheshajam. So that which helps to overcome the fear of a disease is known as Bhaishya. And the root word which is derived, the Bhaishya is derived from the root word of bishop, which means physician. So etymologically, physician is the Bhaishya is a substance which is given by the physician to a patient with a view to treat a disease. And Bhaishya is also known as Aushadha. That means the substance which imparts health. Okay, so that is the Nirukti of Bhaishya, Bheshaja, and Aushadha. And when it comes to Kalpana, the Dhatu is Ripu Samartye. Kramam Kalpa Prayoganam Kalpam Satra Prachakshade. So, this is the guideline for Kalpa Prayoga. So, it can be concluded as Kalpa means Vidhi or Vidhana. Kalpana is Yojana Mityartaha. That is explained by Acharya Charaka, which means formulation. So, Kalpana simply means formulation. Okay. So further, the concept of dravya is actually based on the type of activity of a substance on a human body. In this aspect, the dravya broadly can be classified into two. That is ahara dravya and aushadha dravya. We know that rasa pradhanam aharam, virya pradhanam aushadha. So rasa pradhanam aharam means which used to nourish the nourish the body, or for the nourishment purpose we are using ahara. And outside of the Dravya is Virya Pradhana. That is, which are having principally therapeutically active ingredients or active principles. And outside of the Dravya, we know that in Kashyapa Samhita, according to Kashyapa, Aushadha, Ahara itself is considered as Aushadha. Aharam Mahabheshaja Muchide. So that is why we are having Patya Kalpana. Is a vast subject, so that we can select appropriate Patya in specific diseases. So, Ahara can be considered as Aushadha, but purely Aushadha Devya will be having these four qualities like Bahuda Tatra Yogyata, Anega Vida Kalpana, Sambha. So, Bahuda is the Aushadha or the product must be available, abundantly available. And Yogyatto means it should be effective. And Anega Vida Kalpana means it should be utilized, or it should be utilized for more formulations or more kalpanas. And Sampath is the potent. It should be potent enough to cure the disease. Generally, in Ayurveda therapeutics, drug in both forms are used, like crude as well as processed form. So when a formulation is processed, when it is ready for administration to the patient, it should be effective, but it also should be palatable to the patient. So these are the four basic requirements that are needed for a good drug dosage form. So that will be safety, efficacy, stability, and palatability. The different aspects related to drug formulation, preparation, storage are dealt in Vaishijya Kalpana. Coming to the importance of Vaishijya Kalpana, the significance of Vaishijya Kalpana, Acharya Charaka opines that even a poison is effective when it is used judiciously, whereas inappropriate use of amrita or nectar can be harmful. So that is Yogadabi Visham Tekshnam Uttamam Bheshajam Bhaved, Bheshajam Cha Viduryuktam Tekshnam Sambandhide Visham. And he also adds to this context an unknown drug can act as poison or a sharp weapon or fire or vajrayudha. Yada visham yadha shastram yada agnihi shanir yadha. Tadha aushadam avijnadam vijnadam amrutayada. So an unknown aushada, an unknown drug can act as a poison if it is not used judiciously. But a non-drug can act as amrita also. In Kalpasthana of Charaka Samhita, it is mentioned that which emphasizes the importance of Vaishijya Kalpana. Alpasya Mahartutvam Prabodasya Alpakarmada Kujya Samyoga Vislesha Kala Samskara Yuktibihi. So one can modify the potency of a drug by Samyoga, Vislesha, Kala, Samskara and Yukti. These are the methods that you can adopt to modify the potency of a drug. So the term modification means you can either decrease the potency or either increase the potency. So it can be the processes are samyoga, vislesha, kala, samskara, and yukti. Samyoga means addition or combination of one or more drugs into a formulation is known as samyoga. Vislesha is deduction of one or more compounds from the formulation is known as vislesha. That is done based on the disease condition of the patient. Either you can add some ingredients to a yoga or you can deduct some ingredients from the yoga. And next is the kala. Kala can be paga kala or processing time. Samskara, as you know, samskaro hi gunandhararana muchade, and it can be done in different ways like toya, agni sannigarsha, shauja, mandhan, desha, kala, vasana, bhavanadibihi, kala pragarsha, bhajanadibhisha, adiyande, which was explained by Charaka in 8th chapter Vimanasthana, while explaining the Paradiguna. And Yukti means one's own idea. So you can be creative when it comes to Vaishijya Kalpana. You can prepare your own medicine and you can administer a patient. But the care should be taken to make the medicine effective as well as safety. Safety of the patient is very, very, very important. Next is the principles of Aushadha Nirmana. The pharmaceutical procedures for any drug involves various processes. So, starting from the identification and collection of authentic raw material. Second process is application of standardized processing techniques, production of quality drug. Last one is the packaging and storage of the produced drug. The first is the identification and collection of authentic raw material. In Charaka, there is a quote in Vimanasthana in which he says that a raw material which is having a specific characteristics and therapeutic action grown on a specific soil in a specific atmospheric condition should be collected in a specific season. So from this we can understand that the place of collection and the time of collection is very, very important when it comes to collection of raw materials. So these are the few factors which you should be aware of while collecting the raw materials. Place of drug collection, time of drug collection. There are some general rules regarding the drug collection and Method of drug collection and storage and preservation. First one is the place of drug collection. Chattanooga states that the plant material should never be collected from dirty, marshy places, and plants growing in the graveyard or footpath also should not be collected. Raw materials which are infected, burnt, chilled should not be collected because they do not produce the expected therapeutic effect. Hence, these should be rejected. Collection of raw materials based on virya. So there is two kinds of virya, that is Ushna virya and Shita virya. Ushna virya dravyas must be collected from Vindhya hills. Shita virya dravyas collected from Himalaya. Coming to the collection of raw materials based on the karma. So the land may be categorized on the basis of 5 Mahabhutas. So the drugs for different karmas are to be collected from the soil of different Mahabhuta predominance. So the Virejana Dravya will be collected from Prithvi Jala predominant Bhumi. And Vamana Dravyas will be collected from Agni Akasha Vayu predominant Bhumi. And Shamana Dravyas will be collected from Akasha predominant Bhumi. Next comes the time of collection. According to Sharangadhara, Sharat or the autumn Rudu, the first 2 months succeeding the rains, are the ripening time for most of the plants. So it is supposed to be the best season for collection of all the plant materials. So Sharadhi Akhila Karyartha, Grahyam Sarasam Aushadha. So Sharad is the best season to collect for every action except Vamana and Virejan. Sharad is the best to collect the drug. Sharadhi Akhila Karyartha. It will have Sarasa Aushadham. And Virega Vamanartham cha Vasandande Samajare. For the rest of the, for Vamana and Virejana, for the induction of purgation and emesis, we should collect the end of spring. Next, according to Charaga, Tesham Shaga Palasham Ajira Prarura Varsha Vasandayoho Grahyam. So Shaga and Patra should be collected from Varsha and Vasandaritu. Collected in Varsha and Vasandaritu. Mula, that is the root of the drug should be collected in the Grishma Ritu or Shishira Ritu. Grishme Mulani Shishireva Shirna Praroda Parnani. Sharadhi Tok Kandak Shirani. Tok Kandak Shira of the plant should be collected during the Sharat Ritu. Hemande Sarani, the heartwood should be collected during the Hemanda time. And the Pushpa and Phala Yada Ritu Pushpa Phalamidi in their respective season. Time of the day of drug collection. So till now we talked about the seasonal drug collection, and in a day, which time is the most apt time for collection of drug? So that will be morning time. Morning time is the best time. Grihniya Tani Sumanaha Sujihi Prataha Suvatare. So Prata Kala. It is indicated by many classical textbooks that the Aushadha should be collected during the Prata Kala, morning time. And when it comes to collection of animal products, Sushruta states that the pranija dravyas like Rekta, Roma, Nakha, Shira, Mutra, and Purisha are to be collected from young animals. That is to after the digestion of the food. And what is the importance of place and time of collection of raw materials? The influence of season and place of collection. So there is two studies which will prove that the place and time of drug collection is very, very important. So the first study is done by Sridhara Bayari in 1997 actually, in which he collected Parijada in different seasons, 6 different seasons. 6 samples of Parijada were collected and were subjected to pharmacological evaluation. And it was observed that the samples collected during the September produced better anti-inflammatory activity in comparison to the samples collected during the other seasons. The leaves collected during the November and July were almost inactive. And when it comes to the place of collection, there is one study which was done by Dr. Saxena in 1995. Which was done in Shilajadu. Shilajadu was collected from 5 different places, and and it is tested for antidepressant evaluation, antidepressant activity. So among the 5 different samples, only the Nepal and Gopeshwar samples showed significant activity against activity of antidepressant activity. In other samples, the activity was not significant. So this is the importance of place and time of the collection. These studies I have added in the detail I have added in the notes itself. So you can go and check the note after the class. Coming to Navapurana Dravya Sangrahana. So the period of utilization is according to Sharangadhara Acharya. For all the purposes, we have to use the plant material within 1 year of its collection. That is explained in the slogan Navani Evahi Drivyani Yojyani Akhila Karmasu Vina Vidanga Krishnabhyam Budadanya Anjamakshikaihi. Except these 6 drugs. These 6 drugs should be used after 1 year of its collection. So the 6 drugs are Embryorites, Vidanga, Krishna Piper longa, and Jaggery, coriander, ghee and honey. Next is the Shushka Ardra Dravya Sangrahana. Generally, the general rule is to use a dry drug in every formulation. That is, Shushkam Naveenam Yadravyam Yojyam Sakala Karmasu. General rule is to use the dry drug. But when the dry drug, but it has to be freshly collected and freshly dried. A drug which is collected and kept for 1 year is called as used within 1 year is called as Nava. And a drug which is used after 1 year of its collection is known as Purana. So the Purana, the drug always should be used after the 1 year of its collection is the 6 drugs which are explained by Sharangadhara Acharya. And rest of all the drugs has to be freshly collected and freshly dried. That has to be used in every formulation. Whereas the wet drug has to be used in double the prescribed quantity in all the formulations. There are some exceptions to this rule. These 9 drugs has to be used. They don't have to take the double the prescribed quantity. They can be the same quantity as mentioned in the formulation. These are Guduji, Kudajo Vasa, Pushmanamcha Shadavari, Ashwagandha Sahajari, Shatapushpa Prasarani, Prayoktavya Sadeva Ardra Diguna Neva Yojayeda. So these are known as Sadeva Ardra Dravya. When it is mentioned in a yoga, you have to collect the Ardra Dravya itself. You cannot go for Shushka Dravyas of these 9 raw materials. And Acharya Sharangadhara specified a special rule regarding the mana of Drava Dravya, Ardra Dravya, Shushka Dravya mentioned in the formulation. If the quantity of the drug is mentioned between Gunja and Kudava, the Drava, Ardra, Shushka Dravyas has to be taken same quantity. We don't have to double the quantity. The Gunja to Kudava mana will be, all the mana between the Gunja and Kudava will be considered the same. Like Gunja, Shana, Kola, Karsha, Shukti, Pala, Prasrata, and last Kudava. If the quantity mentioned, Shana also, you have to take the same quantity of Drava, Ardra, Shushka. And if it is mentioned from Prastha to Tula, you have to double Drava Dravya and double the prescribed quantity of Drava Dravya and Ardra Dravya. But Shushka Dravya, you can take the prescribed quantity, same quantity. And when it is mentioned Tula and above, you only have to take the same quantity, prescribed quantity to prepare the medicine. So this is a special rule which is mentioned based on the mana, measurement mana of the quantity of the raw materials specified in a formulation. Next is the Anta Visheshokta Dravya Sangrahana. It is mentioned as Kale Anutya Prabhadam Syas अंगे अनुक्ते जडा भवेत्, भागे अनुक्ते साम्यं स्यात्, पात्रे अनुक्ते च मन्मयं, द्रवे अनुक्ते जलं दे ग्राह्यं, तैले अनुक्ते तिलोद्भवम्. So when kala is not mentioned, kala is not specified, you have to understand that it prabhada, morning is the kala. And if the part of the specific drug is not mentioned, you can take the moola, that is root of the drug. Bhaga, the proportion of two or more ingredients is not given. You can take equal. You can take the quantities in an equal proportion. And if the patra is not mentioned, you can take mud pot. And if the liquid medium is not mentioned, you can take water. Water is a universal solvent. And if the thaila is not mentioned, you have to understand it is tila thaila, that is gingerly oil. So that is the Anukta Dravya Sangrahana. And when it comes to Visheshauta Dravya Sangrahana, Adistula Jada. In case of Adistula Jada, you have to take the bark of the plant or fruit bark. You can also take fruit bark. And Sukshma Mula, you have to take the whole root. And when it comes to Negrodhadi Gana, the bark of these plants has to be collected. Negrodha, Udumbara, Ashwatha, Plaksha and Parish. And the Sara part is collected from the Bija Gadigana, that is Bijaga, Ghadira, Devadaru, Chandana, Asana, Babula. So when in a yoga, Bijaga is mentioned, you have to understand that the Sara part of Bijaga is taken. And when in a yoga, it is mentioned Negrodha or Plaksha, you have to understand that bark of the plant has to be taken. And Tani Sadehi Patani. When the Tali sign is mentioned, you have to understand that the Patra is the specific. Patra is the therapeutically active part you have to take for the formulation. Talisa, Palasha, Kumara, Teja, Patra, and Nagavalli. And when it comes to Haridagi, Vibhidhi, Amalagi, you know that it is the phala of these plants, fruit. And Dhadagi and Maduga, that is the Pushpa. When Dhadagi is mentioned, you have to understand flower of Dhadagi has to be taken. And when it comes to Snuhi Kshira, Snuhi and Arka, you have to take Kshira or Milky exudate. So this is the Vishesh of the Dravya Sangrahana. Next is Chandana Grahana Niyama. So there is two type of Chandana, that is Shweta Chandana and Rikta Chandana. So in any kalpa, in any Churna kalpa, Sneha kalpa, Avaleha kalpa and Sandhana kalpa, if Chandana is mentioned, you have to take the Shweta Chandana to make the formulation. Churna Snehasava Leha प्रायः चन्दनामिदः कषायलेपयोः प्रायो विशेषात् रक्तचन्दनं. So कषायलेपयोः प्रायो. So रक्तचन्दना is used in kashaya preparation. That is Panchavidha Kashaya Kalpana, and for lepa also, mukha lepa for external application, Raktachandana is advocated. So that is the role of Chandana Grahana Nema. And next is Abhava Pradinidhi Devya. So Pradinidhi Dravyas are known as substituents of a herbal drug. So these are narrated in the Ayurveda classics when the original drug is not available. So these are some of the Pradinidhi Dravyas which are explained in Iatrochemistry of Rasa Shastra textbook. So if the madhu is not available, honey is not available, you can take Jeerna Guda. If Sita is not available, you can take Ghanta Sharkara. If Shali is not available, Shastika Shali is prescribed. If instead of Draksha Phala, you can instead of as a substituent, you can take Kashmiri Phala. And as a substituent to Vrikshamla, you can take Dadi Mamla. And in case of Shweta Chandana is not available, you can take even Ekta Chandana. And Gopitta, in Rasa Shastra, there are many processes which are mentioned, Gopitta Bhavana. So in that case, you can take, instead of Gopitta, which is very rare, which is difficult to get. So instead of Gopitta, you can use Vishamushti Kashaya for Bhavana of Rasadravya. Next is the method of drug collection. That is, I already mentioned, Grahaniya Tani Sumana Shujihi Frataha Suvasare. Suvasare means an auspicious day in the morning time. After taking snana, Deha Shuddhi as well as Mana Shuddhi have to be done. And with the good stocks. You have to go and collect the drug. That is the explanation which is given by Sharangadharacharya. Application. Next is the application of standardized processing techniques. So these can be studied under the purview of good manufacturing practices. Application of standardized processing techniques. That means good manufacturing practices. So these are good GMP are the testing and production practices that ensures a quality product. GMP, the objectives of the GMP ensures that raw materials used in the manufacture of drugs are authentic, of prescribed quality and free from contamination. And GMP ensures the manufacturing process has been followed to maintain the standards. There is you have to follow an SOP, standard operating procedure, while preparing a medicine in a pharmacy. And adequate quality. GMP also ensures adequate quality control measures are adopted. And the manufactured drug which released for sale is of acceptable quality. You have to follow the SOP in every aspect of manufacturing, from receiving and storing raw material in manufacturing process area, quality control section, finished goods store, office, and in the rejected drug store itself, you have to follow the SOP. In a pharmacy, there must be every process has to be in a flow, from the purchase of raw material till the sale of finished goods, till the dispatch of the finished goods. Everything has to be done in a flow. By this way, we can save the time, manpower, money, and we can make sure that the medicine prepared, processed, are safe and potent enough to cure the disease. Coming to storage and preservation. So these are also coming under the purview of GMP, which is mentioned, which is explained under Schedule T of Drug and Cosmetic Rule of 1945. And in the storage and preservation, the stores of the raw material stores must be properly ventilated, and it must be free from dampness, and there must be independent and adequate space for storage of different types of material, different types of raw materials. So in a raw material store, there will be like different kinds of raw materials. Some examples are the raw materials of metallic origin, mineral origin, animal salts, fresh herbs, dry herbs or plant parts, excipients, volatile oils, plant concentrates, extracts, exudates, or resins. So for each raw materials, each raw material should be stored in an appropriate containers, which would protect the quality of the raw material, as well as it will prevent it from the damage due to dampness and microbiological contamination or rodent or insect infestation. If some of the raw materials must be required to be kept in a controlled environmental conditions, such materials have to be stored in separate cabins. So there can be several cabins based on the nature of the raw materials. Okay, for easy identification. So in the raw materials, there will be a lot of containers with the which is stored, in which the drugs are stored. So in each container, each container has to be labeled properly. So in the label, there has to be the name of the. You have to mention the name of the raw material, source of supply, and also mentions the status of the raw material, such as under test, approved, or rejected. And in the label, you need to add batch number, lot number, and the date of receipt of the consignment, which would prove that, which would if you by this labeling properly, if we label the containers properly, it will be easy for you to identify which has to be taken first for the preparation, for the formulation, and which has to be taken second, or which has to be taken last. So that is the importance of labeling the raw material store, the raw material containers. Next is the packaging materials. All packaging materials such as bottles, jars, capsules shall be stored properly. All containers and closures shall be adequately cleaned and dried before packing the products. Finished goods stores. Coming to finished goods stores, after the production is completed, after the packing is also completed, the finished goods will be transferred into finished goods stores. But they will they will be stored in a in a special area which is marked as quarantine. That means they have to get the QC certificate before they transfer to the approved finished goods stores. So the experts have to check the correctness of the finished goods with reference to its packing, labeling, as well as the quality of the finished product. So after that, it will be moved to the finished goods stores. Only the approved finished goods shall be dispatched. Next is the Mana Paribhasha. So Mana Paribhasha, the Nirukti of Mana is Niyati Anena Iti Mana. The measurements are the Mana that has become the base foundation of all sciences. In Ayurveda also, from quantity of raw materials taken for a formulation till the formulation is administered to a patient in a specific dose, Mana is very, very necessary. So in the manufacturing as well as to fix the dose also, Mana is very essential. In a formulation, specific Mana is mentioned for each drug, especially in state of inclusive of Vishadravya. If the formulation contains Vishadravya, the Mana, the quantity of the material is very, very important. So in that way, Mana is very important in formulating a compound. Types of Mana. Coming to types of Mana, according to Desha, Mana is divided into two. That is Magadha Mana and Kalinga Mana. Magadha Mana is explained by Charaka. It is prevailed in Magadha Desha. And Kalinga Mana is explained by Sushruta. It is prevailed in Kalinga Desha. Kalinga Magadham Shrestha. In comparison with the Kalinga Mana, Magadha Mana is considered as to be superior, as it includes Paramanu as the smallest unit of measurement. Okay. Next is the types of Mana according to the nature of substance. So it can be Paudava Mana. It is Paudava Mana, Dhruvaya Mana, and Paya Mana. Paudava Mana is the measurements of solid. Dhruvaya Mana is measurement of liquid. Paya Mana is measurement of flame. According to British Pharmacopoeia, the measurements are divided into two, that is imperial system and metric system. So this is the metric equivalent as per given in Ayurvedic Pharmacopoeia of India. So in which you can see that 1 rati is equal to 125 milligram. 8 rati is equal to 1 gram. And 4 prastha is equal to 3.73 gram. In the formulations, the quantity of Dravadravya will be almost in the most thin measurement will be drona. So 4 ardhaga is the drona, 1 drona. So that will be 12 kilo, 12.2, 12 kilo, 200 grams will be taken in the formulations. And 2 shukti is 1 pala, and 2 prasrati is 192 gram, that is 1 koda. So that is the importance of Mana Paribhasha. And improper ratio of ingredients in formulation will hamper the efficacy of medicine and may cause toxic effects. Whereas in the therapeutic application, if the dose given is low, the medicine would be worthless or ineffective. If the dose is high, it may even produce the adverse effects also. So thus Mana plays a crucial role to formulate a medicine and as well as in the management of a disease. Next comes the Panchavidha Kashaya Kalpana. As I mentioned earlier, Dravyas are classified into Ahara Dravya and Aushadha Dravya. So in that way, Kalpana is also mentioned, divided into Ahara Kalpana and Aushadha Kalpana. Aushadha Kalpana is further divided into two. That is primary Aushadha Kalpana and secondary Aushadha Kalpana. Primary Aushadha Kalpanas are the Panchavidha Kashaya Kalpana. These Panchavidha Kashaya Kalpanas are the basics of secondary Aushadha Kalpana. That is, the secondary Aushadha Kalpanas will be Gudiga, Guda Kalpana, Sneha Kalpana, Avaleha Kalpana, Sandhana Kalpana. All the Kalpanas which uses the Panchavidha Kashaya Kalpana as their ingredient. will be the secondary Aushadha Kalpana. These are the basics for all Ayurveda formulations. As the term indicates, it is Panjavida Kashaya Kalpana. These are 5 in number. Why it is not Shadvida Kashaya Kalpana or Saptavida Kashaya Kalpana? It is the main reason is that the Panchavida Kashaya, most of the Acharyas have accepted the concept of Panchavida Kashaya Kalpana. But according to Kashyapa, it is Saptavida Kashaya Kalpana. That is, he is added Churna as well as Abhishava to the rest of the Panchavida Kashaya Kalpana. That is, the main Panchavida Kashaya Kalpana is Swarataha, Kalka, Shruta, Shida, Panda. Swarasya Kalpana, Kalka Kalpana, Mada Kalpana, Shida Kalpana, and Bhanda Kalpana. In addition to that, Kashyapa added Churna Kalpana and Abhishava Kalpana to it. So he explained 7 Kalpanas. According to Sushruta, it is Shadvida Kashaya Kalpana. That is, he added Shida Kalpana to it. So, but most of the Acharyas have accepted the concept of Panjavida Kashaya Kalpana. So, why it is called as Panjavida Kashaya Kalpana? Not as Panjavida Kalka Kalpana, or it can be called as Panjavida Swarasya Kalpana also. But the reason behind is that Kandasya Kashanad, the Kashaya Nirukti will be Kandasya Kashanad Prayoho Roganam Va Api Kashanad Kashaya Shabdasya Pradhanyad. So, Kandasya Kashanad, while you are drinking the Kashaya, you will be having a mild irritation over the throat region. So, that is known as Kandasya Kashanad. Prayoho Rogana Vavi Kashanad. So, since it eradicating the disease or since it alleviating the disease, it is known as Rogana Vavi Kashanad, which helps to cure the disease. Rogana Vavi Kashanad. Last part is the important one. Kashaya Shabdasya Pradhanyad. So, if you take any chapter in Chinasthana, you can find that Kashaya. Kashaya is the main medicine which have explained by all the Acharyas in any disease condition. Kashaya is indicated. So, Kashaya Shabdasya Pradhanyad. So, there is a lot of Kashaya. There is an n number of Kashayas are explained for various diseases. So, that is why it is known as, that is the probable reason why it is known as Panjavida Kashaya Kalpana. These basic forms are decided on the basis of Panchamahabhuta itself. So, Churna Kalpana will be Parthiva Dravya dominant substances are made into Churna. And Kalka, that will be Prithvi and Jala, Vada, Jala, Swarata, Hima, Bhanda, Arka, that will be Vayu and Agni Mahabhuta predominant. That's are used for those. And these 5 Panchaveda Kashaya Kalpanas. The first one is Swarasa, that is the expressed juice. Kalka is the fine paste obtained by grinding fresh drug or wet grinding of the dry drug. Kwada is the decoction. Shida Hima. Shida or Hima is the cold infusion. Bhanda is the hot infusion. The first 2 forms are prepared from the freshly collected plant, that is the Swarasa and Kalka, that are prepared from freshly collected plant material and are directly given to the patient. Whereas the last 3 forms, that is Kwada, Hima, and Bhanda, are prepared from, those are the aqueous extract of dried plant material. The basic principle of this Pancha Vidha Kashaya Kalpanas will be not all the part of a drug will be therapeutically active. So, those therapeutically active ingredients have to be separated or extracted from the plant and put to therapeutic use. Water is the universal solvent, so it is used in for extraction of such ingredients in majority of the time. 3 types of extracting techniques, depending on the heat sensitivity of the plant materials are used. The extracts are obtained termed as Vada, Bhanda, which are in which the extraction is done by hot water, and in Hima the extraction is done with cold water. Coming to the design a formulation. So the Panchavidha Kashaya Kalpanas are, after the Panchavidha Kashaya Kalpanas, those Panchavidha Kashaya Kalpanas are used for the secondary Aushadha Kalpanas. So when we formulate a yoga, the design, yoga formulation is also very important. So why certain drugs are drugs, certain yogas will be more effective when it is given as a Gridha Kalpana. When it is some raw materials will be effective when it is given as a dry churna or dry powder, or some may be effective when it is given as a quadra. So, so what decides the factor? So this is a study which was done by Dr. Sudhir Joshi in 97, and um, in which the Yashti Madhu was administered in 3 different formulations. And it is subjected to comparative evaluation. The Yashti Churna, the 3 different formulations for Yashti Churna, Yashti Grida and Yashti Sharkara, each containing same quantity of the Yashti. It is evaluated for anti-ulcer activity. It is the study is done in swimmers actually. The significant reduction in the in the ulcer, which was observed in the group which were treated with the Yashti Grida. This clearly indicates that the stress ulcer, test drug given in the form of Grida is good. So this is the importance of formulation. Design of formulation. So the 3 different formulations were prepared. Yashti Churna was administered, Yashti Grida administered, and Yashti Sharkara also administered. So among them, Yashti Grida were having the significant effect on stress ulcer. As I mentioned earlier, design of formulation, yoga nirmana. So, Jagat Kevam Anaushadam Kinjit. So, every substance in the universe possesses a potential to become a drug. But not every part of the substance is always therapeutically useful in a specific disease. So, the therapeutically useful substance has to be separated out and it must be used for the therapy. It must be used for the therapy. The therapeutically useful part is known as Sarabhaga, which is mentioned by Acharya Chakrapani Datta in Charaka Samhita. This extraction can be achieved through specific process. The components soluble in water are extracted in water, whereas the solvents like fat, oil. The lipid soluble extract active principles will be treated with the fat or oil to extract the lipid soluble active principles. And alcohol will be used to extract alcohol soluble active principles. Sometimes a combined solvent system is also can be used. Water is the universal solvent. In a formulation, fresh as well as the dry drug is used for the processing. That is depending upon the availability of the dry drug or the fresh drug. We have to different procedures are adopted to prepare a dosage form which is stable and for which can be used for a longer period. Thus, in this way, we can understand that the type of pharmaceutical procedures, a type of formulations will be depending on the following factors. That is, nature of the raw materials that you select. If you select a raw material to prepare a medicine, the nature of the raw material is very important and required concentration of the dosage form. Third one is the solubility of therapeutically useful component of the plant. Next is heat stability of the therapeutically useful component of the plant. And fifth one is the route of administration. And last one is the shelf life of prepared dosage form. So these will be the factors you have to, these are the factors you have to keep in mind while you're designing a formulation. Okay. Next is the Samvirada Avadhi. Samvirada Avadhi, the definition is the specific period of time during which the virya of the medicine remains unchanged. Savirada Avadi. Until the Savirada Avadi, the Virya remains unchanged. After that, after the Savirada Avadi, the Virya decreases. This is known as shelf life or stability of a drug. These are the influential factors of the shelf life. Nature of the raw materials used, dosage form, environmental factors, microbial contamination, storage condition. These will decide the Savirada Avadi of a prepared drug. According to Sharingadhara Samhita, the basic kalpanas that Panchavita Kashaya kalpanas are the perishable dosage forms that has to be used within 24 hours, or it is mentioned in the Kashaya kalpana that is it has to be used while it is lukewarm. So that is the shelf life of Panchaveda Kashaya kalpanas. Coming to other kalpanas, that is Ausadhu Leghu Bhaga, drug form that is unprocessed dried plant material that is collected and dried, and it is in the raw material store. So you can use the raw material till 1 year. After that, you have to reject the raw material, or you have to use other raw materials. And when it comes to powder, it will be 2 months. And when it comes to tablet, pills, syrup, it will be 1 year. And in the medicated oil or ghee, it is 16 years. And low potency Aushadhya Laghupaga, that is 1 year. And Laghupaga Aushadhi has to be 1 year. That is Goduma and Yava are the examples of Laghupaga Aushadhi. So the potency of the Devya remains 1 year. And alcoholic preparations, that is Asava Arishta and Resa. Resa Aushadhi, you can use more than 1 year. After a year also, the potency of the drug increases by time. So that is the importance of alcoholic preparation and the mineral and metallic drugs. So this is the opinion of Sharingadhara Samhita, and according to Drug and Cosmetic Rules 1945, there are a lot of reference from the opinions of Sharingadhara. So the Arka Kalpana or the eye drops, the Saviradavadi shelf life is 1 year. Churna, Pada Churna, ear and nasal drops, Dhumapana, Grida and Shweda Varpadi, up to 2 years you can use. And Pravahi Kwada with the preservative, Gudiga, Taila, syrup, soft gel capsule, Ganda, granule, Leba Churna, Malahara, gel, ointment, liniment, lotions, creams. These formulations can be used till 3 years, up to 3 years. After that, you have to discard the formulation. And Gudiga, when it comes to Gudiga, containing Kashta Aushadhi, Resa and Ubarasa, Gugulu Kalpanas, hard gel capsule, Asma of Naga, Vanga and Tamra. This is an important one because generally we will mention the Basma Kalpanas can be used for infinite period of time. Those Basmas can be stored for infinite period of time and can be sold also. But according to the amendment 2016, it is clearly mentioned that Naga, Vanga, Tamra Basma, that is the shelf life is 5 years. After that, you cannot sell the Naga, Vanga and Tamra. And Dravaga, Lavana, Nara, Mandura, Loha Kalpanas. Those are also having a shelf life of 5 years. And coming to Asava Arishta, Resaushadi, Guvipaku Rasayana, Parpadi, Pishti and Bhasma. Other Bhasmas, apart from Naga, Vanga and Tamra, other Resa Bhasmas. First, it was mentioned as there was no expiry date. You can use it as years passed. The potency will also increase. So that was the idea behind that. But after the amendment of 2019, it was changed to 10 years. And all the Basmas has to be after 5 years has to be undergone 2 more pudas, and after that you have to repack and you have to dispatch it once again. So that is also mentioned in the amendment 2016. So Asava Arishta Rasaushadis, the maximum period of time is 10 years. And last part is nomenclature, Namakarana. So the uh, uh, based on the first leg of the compound, you can name the formulation as Punarnavarishta Jatyadi Thailam, in which the Punarnava or Jati is the first drug of the compound. And based on the important ingredient of the formulation. In Hinguashtaka Churna, Hingu is the important ingredient. And in Dashamula Ashta, Dashamula is the important ingredient. And based on the number of the drugs are used, it can be named as Punarnavastaka Kwada, Rasna Saptaga, Rasna Panchaga Kwada. Based on the physical appearance of the product, Swarnavanga, Parpadi Kalpa. Based on the time of collection of the drugs in a formulation. So that is Pushyanuva Churna. Based on therapeutic activity, the medicines are named as Adogyavardhini Vada. Based on method of preparation, Shada Dauda Vida. So Shada Dauda. So that is the method. So Dauda. So that is the method. So that is why it is not a Shada Dauda Vida. Based on the dose, we can it is mentioned Shad Bindu Thailand. Based on the name of the Acharya who proposed the formulation. So that is Chavanaprasha, as well as Agastya Rasayana. Those are the examples of the formulations which are named or which are known by the formulator. Okay, based on some similes, Kanaga Sundararasi. So some based on some similes, they will name the formulations. So next and last one is based on the therapeutic activity, emphasized therapeutic activity. That is Prabhuvana Kirtirasam, therapeutic activity, or it is emphasized or emphasized version. So that you can take the Prabhuvana Kirti as an example for that. So here we answer the discussion of the basic principles of Aushad Nirmana in Bhaishijya Kalpana. Next, we will move on to basic preparations of Bhaishijya Kalpana, the basic principles of Aushad Nirmana in Rasa Shastra. So, in this, we will cover Shodhana, Marana, Sattvapadana, Amrtikarana, Jaranam, and Mochana. So these are the basic principles of Aushad Nirmana when it comes to in the Rasa Shastra. So first one is the Shodhana. The definition of Shodhana is Uddhishte Raushadaihi Sardham Kriyade Peshanadhigam Malavichitye Yattu Shodhanam Pradihochyade. The process of purification is known as Shodhana, by which a drug is the procedure which is done to detoxify or purify a drug is known as Shodhana. Why it is done? Why Shodhana is performed on a drug? To make the drug non-toxic. Or and also it is done to enhance the therapeutic activity on a certain level. Next is these are the 11 different methods which are used for the purpose of purification. First one is the Bhavana. I have taken the class, I have detailedly taken the class on the Shodhana and the Marana in the Paribhasha Adhyaya. Bhavana, Mardana, Nirvava, Dhalana, all those portions are covered in that class itself. So I will just brief the concept of Bhavana and the methods of Bhavana here. Okay. The first is the Bhavana, wet grinding. Second is the Mardana. Wet or dry grinding will come under Mardana. So the example will be Bhalladaga Shodhana in Ishtiga Churna. And then Nirvapa is the process of the process in which the metals are made to red hot and dipped in a prescribed liquid medium is known as Nirvapa. So the Swarnadi Lohapatra, Tailetakre Gavamutre, Aranale Kulattache, Kramat Nisheje Tattam Drave tu Saptada. So Swarnadi Lohadadu, the metals which are having higher melting point are purified using Nirvapa process. And next comes the Dhalana. So Dhalana is used for the purification of lower metals which are having lower metallic point, melting point. So that is the process of pouring a molten metal into a specified liquid medium is known as dhalana. Next is the avapa, addition of powdered drug to a molten metal, which is especially mentioned for Vanga and Naga. Next is the Padana. Padana three times, Udha Padana, Adha Padana, and Tityak Padana, which is the main process in the purification of Parada. And next is the Galana. Galana is the sieving or filtering. So Galana is most probably, or in major, in almost all the cases, Galana is done as a part of Shodhana, not as a separate process. So it is a major process in the Gandhaga Shodhana, which is used to remove the physical impurities of Gandhaga. After the Gandhaga Dravani melting, after the Gandhaga being melted, it is poured into the milk through a cloth. So the physical impurities will be remaining. Physical impurities are collected on the cloth itself. So that is known as Gandhaga Galana. Next is the Bharjana. Bharjana is the frying or heating a drug in an open pan until the complete moisture content is lost. So the examples will be Kamshi and as well as Tangana. Tangana Pannochiladaha Shuddhi. Next is the Svedana. Boiling a drug in a prescribed liquid media is known as Svedana. Svedana, there is a lot of examples like Haritala, Svinnam Kushmanda Toyeva, Tilakshara Jaliyaviva, Toyeva Churna Samyukte, Tola Yendrena Shuddhati. So Svedana. And Gandhaga also can be purified as purified in a Svedana process. And Gauri Pashana is purified in Svedana process. So that is a Svedana, boiling a drug in a prescribed liquid media. Next is the Shoshana. Shoshana will be Atapa Sevana, drying under shade. That is also considered, that is also done as a part of other Shodhana process. Like in Bhavana, after each Bhavana, we have to dry the sample and you have to do the next Bhavana after complete drying of the first Bhavana. Last one is a prakshalana, that is cleaning or washing. So that is also done as a part of other shodhana processes. And one in Ghadiga shodhana is done in in the process of prakshalana. Ghadiga is mixed with water and it is Ghadiga is washed and it is kept undisturbed for it is then kept undisturbed for some time so that the Gadiga will settle down at the bottom of the vessel. So after some time, you can decant the water and you can collect the Gadiga from the bottom of the pot. So that is Prakshalana. So these are the 11 various Shodhana procedures which are done for purification of Rasa Dravyas. Next, after Shodhana, the next process is Marana. So the definition of Marana is Shodidan Lohadhatwadin Vimardhya Swarasadhibi Agni Samyogado Bhasmegaranam Marana Sundar. The process of trituration of purified metals and minerals with a specified liquid medium and subjecting it to Buddha. Nowadays it is heating in a muffled furnace. It's known as incineration. In a muffled furnace is known as Marana. So the process by which a drug is converted into Bhasma is called as Marana. The Buddha is the degree of heat required for preparing the Bhasma of metals and minerals, and this degree of heat can be achieved by the number of coagulants used for the heating purpose. The fuel of the Buddha, there are different kinds of fuels are explained, and majorly the main fuels will be the cow dung and tusha. This is the standard operating procedure of Marana. So the first process is procurement of good quality of raw drug. So that is based on the Grahya Lakshanas of the metal or a mineral. So based on the Grahya Lakshanas, you have to collect the good quality raw material. And next process is purification or Shodhana. And the final process is Marana. And Marana again is divided into three. That is Bhavana, Chakrika Karana or pelletization, Buddha or incineration. Bhavana is done as a part of Chakrika Karana. So for preparing the Chakrika, the drug after Shodhana will be taken and it will be triturated in a specified liquid medium until we get a soft homogeneous paste. So that the paste or kalka can be further made into circular shaped pellets, which are having 2 to 2.5 centimeter in diameter. So these chakriga karana is done, and further this chakrigas, the prepared chakrigas are kept for drying under sun. After the complete drying of the chakrikas, you have to take it for the puda or incineration process. So for the puda, two similar sized sharavas are taken. Among them, in one of the sharava, we have to spread the chakrigas in a uniform manner in 1 to 2 layers, maximum of 3 layers. We cannot dump the chakrigas into the sharavas to get the effective heat transfer or temperature transfer in through the chakrigas. You have to keep the chakrigas or place the chakrigas in a uniform manner. That too in 1 to 2 levels, 2 layers, maximum of 3 layers. Next is the Sandhi Bandhanam, and final process is Puda or Puda. Based on the specified Puda in the classical reference, you have to do the Puda and Gaja Puda, Pupura Puda, based on the heat, based on the hardness of the materials, you can use the Puda. Okay, so this is the basic Marna procedure. So we can learn this Marna procedure taking Kasi as an example. So we can go through the process of taking Kasi as an example. Why I took Kasi as an example, I will tell you later. So the first method is procurement of good quality drug. So the first thing you have to do is to procure good quality causes. So according to Rasatarangani, it is mentioned as kasisa grahya lakshana. Pushpa kasisa has to be taken. So both the kasisa are good. Pushpa kasisa and Valuga kasisa. These are the two types of kasisa. Both the kasisas are good. But Pushpa Kasisa is Adi Prashasta. Pushpari Kasisam Adi Prashasta. So Pushpa Kasisa is considered as the best one. So Vacha and Hadita Varna Kasisa is taken. According to Starangani. And next process is the purification. So the purification process, the Sakrat Bringamuna Klinam Kasisam Shuddhim Rachati. So Bringaraya Swarasa Stabana extract. So Kasisa Shodhana. Then comes the Marana process. So Marana, for Chakriga Karana, Kasisa Bhavana is mentioned in lemon extract. Kasisa Nimbu Nirena, Marde Itwadu Chakriga, Shuska Karya Sampudasta, Desha Prastavanobalehi, Punaha Punaha Pudadeyo, Yavad Basmam Niramladam, Yeda Gairiga Varnam Sad, Kasisasya Prajayade. So Bhavana in lemon extract. Chakriga Karana is done, pelletization and drying. Kasisa pellets were dried completely, and then it is subjected to Puda. So Dasha Prastavanobala. In the sloka itself, it is mentioned as the Puda. For doing Puda, you have to take 10 Prastavanobala. So that will be one Prasta is equal to 768 grams, and it will be 7 kg, 7,680 grams of Vanobala has to be taken to prepare Kasisa Bhasma. So this is the general method of Maran of it, Resadrapya. But there are some exceptions to this general method. So that is what I'm going to tell you next. That is when it comes to Abraga. Abraga is the first mineral in Maharashtra. But when it comes to Abraga, after doing Shodhana, after collecting the Abraga according to the Grahya Lakshanas, that is the Vajra Abraga is said, and the purification is done, the Nirvapa process is mentioned. So the Nirvapa in Kanjiga, Gomutra, Trasapada, Godudha, any of the liquid media. Nirvapa is done, and after that Dhanya Abraga. And next is the special procedure which is mentioned only for Abraga, that is Dhanya Abraga Nirmana. So that is the exception here. And next exception is Vanga Vasma preparation. So after doing the Shodhana, Vanga Jarana with Apamarga Panchanga Churna has to be done before we are going for Marana process. So these are the exceptions of the general method. Next is the Amrtikarana. So Shodhana and Marana is done. Next is the Amrtikarana process. So, lohadina mrudanam vai shishta doshanvate vede yestu samskaraha amrutyegaranam. The process of neutralizing the toxic or adverse effects of prepared bhasma is known as amrutyegaranam. It is a process which is done after the marana procedure. The Samadhigarana is mainly followed for Abdaga, Swarnamashiga, Loha, and Tamra. We can take Tamra Amadhigarana as an example. There was a study which was done by Dr. Reena and Dr. Sudhindra, in which the title of the study was Concept of Amadhigarana and its importance with a special reference to Tamra, in which they have done Tamra Bhasma Amadhigarana. The study was Tamra Bhasma was prepared and subjected for Amadhigarana process. Both two samples were prepared, one with Tamra Bhasma without Amadhigarana, one with Tamra Bhasma with Amadhigarana. And it is subjected for physicochemical analysis, elemental analysis, particle size analysis, structural cell shape study, and toxicity studies. So we will look into the toxicity studies. To evaluate the toxicity of the Tamarabhasma before and after Amadhigarana. Both samples were subjected for acute and subacute toxicity studies on albino rats. In the acute toxicity study, it was noted that the maximum tolerated dose of Tamarabhasma before Amadhigarana was 250 milligrams per 200 grams of body weight of albinoids. And maximum tolerated dose of Tamaravasma after Amadhigarana was 760 mg per 200 grams of body weight of albinoid. So it is clearly indicates that the Amadhigarana process remarkably reduced the copper toxicity when it is compared to Tamaravasma without Amadhigarana process. It was 250 mg. After Amadhigarana process, it is almost tripled, that is 760 mg. So when it is administered to the albino the copper toxicity was remarkably reduced. So that is the importance of Amadhigarana process. Next is the Sattvopadana process, that is extraction or concentration of a metal from a mineral or its ore is known as Sattvopadana. Any mineral is mixed with Kshara, Amla, Dravaka Varga and subjected to heat in a koshti or musha by which the sattva is procured. Charamle Dravage Riktam Madam Agara Koshtake Kshara Amla Dravagana. Madam Agara Koshtake Yesyadu Nirgada Saraha Sattvavitta Vidyede. So that is known as sattva. Sattva is said to be two types, that is metallic sattva and mineral herbal sattva. Sorry, metallic and herbal sattva. Rasaushadhi contains metallic sattva, while Kashtaushadhi contains herbal sattva. The process of sattva always needs strong heat, but some of the drug releases their essence or sattva in low temperature also. So according to the time, temperature, fuel needed for the sattva metallic sattva is again divided into two types, that is mrudu sattva and ghara sattva. Mrudu sattva is the drug which releases the sattva in low temperature, that is below 1000 degrees Celsius, like tutta. And in Ghara Sattva, the drug which releases their sattva in a very high temperature is known as Ghara Sattva. That will be about 1300 degrees Celsius. So the Bhunaga Sattva and Mayura Picha Sattva are the examples of the Ghara Sattva. Based on the process of Sattva there is two stages of Sattva, that is Bijavarta and Shuddhavarta. Bijavarta is the beginning stage of Sattva, the Dravasya Unmukta. So when the mineral starts to melt, that stage is known as Bijavarta. So in that stage, the flame of the koshti attains a specific color that will be representative of the mineral used for the Sattva. And the next stage is Shuddhavarta. The Kala Sattva Nirgame. The final stage of Sattva is known as Shuddhavarta, in which the flame will be bright white color. This indicates the stage of Sattva. The Sattva has been extracted from the mineral. So that is the Sattva. Based on the material, based on the drug, used for Sattva-Badana, there are different kinds of Agni is used to extract the metal from the mineral. So in Abraga, Vaikranda, Makshiga, Tivra Agni, high heat has to be used to get the Sattva. When it comes to Vimala, heat, the temperature should be given with a 6 prasta of Kogila or charcoal. That will be 4,608 grams of Kogila. Charcoal has to be burned to get the Sattva from Vimala. When it comes to Tutta, it will be Dridagni. And Talaga or argument heat in the Vaga is done in Valuga Yandra. And in Valga Yandra, the temperature will go up to 900 degrees Celsius. Up to 700 degrees Celsius is needed for Talaga. And Rajavatta lapis lazuli, the Ghadira heat with the temperature is given with the Kogilas of a Ghadira plant. So these are the Sattvavadana types of Agni. There is a general method of purification of Sattva. After obtaining the Sattva has to be purified with the specific liquid medium. So the general method of purification is bhavana, trituration. And the generally the Nimbu Swarasa and Ardraga Swarasa are used for the bhavana process of Sattva. And the bhavana should be continued for 3 days. This is the table in which the color of different kinds of Rasadriga, the color of different kinds of Sattvas of the Rasadrigas I've mentioned. When it comes to Abraga, it is Loha Nibha. When it comes to Vaikranda, it is white color. And in Makshiga, it is Gunjava, red color. And Vimala, it is white. Adrija is Loha Sannibha. Tasyaga is Indragopa Sankasha, that is red in color, Tamra Ruba. As the Sasyaga is copper sulfate and Tamra is the extracted Sattva. So Tamra Ruba will be the color. And Resaga, it is Tishobama, that is Naga. And Vangava, white color. And Haritala means, and Vangava means white color. And Haritala is a white like Vajra. And Gaudi Pashana, it is white in color. And Hingula, it is Sudha Samamshaka, that is white in color. And Mridhara Sringa is red, Naga, like lead-like. And Moonaga will be copper, and Mayura Picha will be, the color will be copper. Next is the Jarana process. Jarana means, the term Jarana means Jirnana, Parinashana, or digestion. So it is a pharmaceutical procedure that enables mercury to digest other metals and minerals. The term Jarana or the concept of Jarana is interpreted in 3 different ways. That is, first one is Gandhaka Jarana. Second one is Jarana as one among the Ashtadasha Samskaras of Parada. Third interpretation is the Jarana of Puti Loha, that is Nagavanga Jarana. So, these are the 3 concepts of Jarana which is mentioned in Rasa Shastra. Gandhaka Jarana, Jarana as Ashtadasha Samskara, Jarana of Puti Loha. So, the term Jarana, here is the term Jarana is mentioned. Hello. Here the Jarana is Gandhaka Jarana. Definition is Drudagrasa Parinamo Vida Yendradi Yojada Jarana Ityuchare Tasya Prakaro Shandi Kodishaha. It is a reduction of a metal or mineral in mercury with the help of different catalysts and different instruments. So Drudagrasa Parinamo. Grasa is the metal or mineral which is added into the mercury. Grasa. Grasa mana is the quantity of that particular mineral. Drudagrasa Parinamo. Vida Yendradi Yojitaha. Vida means Kshara Amlaishcha Gandhamlehi Mutraishcha Padubistada Resagrasasya Jirnartham Tad Vida Parigirtham. So Vida is the catalyst which is added to Parada to enhance the process of reduction or jarana of specific minerals and metals. Shara, Amla, Gandhaga, Mutravarga, Saindava. These are considered as the Vidadrika. When it comes to Yendra, there are many Yendras are used for the purpose of Jarana, like Paliga Yendra, Darvi Yendra, Kachapa Yendra, Valuka Yendra. These all are used for the Jarana process. Hallmarks of Jarana process. what is the importance of Dhyana process, or what is the speciality of Dhyana process? Like mercury remains in its native form even after processing mercury with other grasa metals and minerals. This is possible. Um, this thing is possible with specific yandra and in a controlled temperature and with the help of a specific catalyst. The weight of the mercury remains unchanged after the Dhyana process. Even after the addition of the other minerals or metals as a grasa, the mercury, which was weighed before the Dhyana, will remain unchanged after the Dhyana process. So that is the important, that is the speciality of Dhyana process. That is why it is known as Dharana or digestion. It is not simply addition. And when you add something to mercury, or when you add something to anything, the quantity of the added material will be there. So will be weighed after the addition. But in the Dharana of mercury, the even after adding the other minerals and metals as grasa, in the specific in the with the help of a catalyst and with the use of specific yantras at a specific temperature, even after adding the quantity of the added material will not be the will not be weighed after the process. The weight of the mercury remains unchanged even after the Dhyana process. That is the importance of Dhyana process. That is why it is known as Dhyana process. Since mercury remains in its original form, the recovery process like Galana, Padana are not necessary after Dharana. That is the definition of Dharana given by Ayurveda Prakasha, in which Galana, Padana, Vyadiregana, Girasagana, Hemadi, Rasasya, Purvavastha, Pratipannatvam. So we don't have to do the Galana and Padana process in order to recover the mercury after the Jhana process, because mercury will remain as it is when it is used before the Jhana. Okay. Three steps of Dharana. Grasasya charanam, garbe dhravanam, dharana. Grasasya charanam, garbe dhravanam, and dharana. These are the three steps of Dharana. Addition of a metal or mineral into mercury is known as grasasya charanam. Rasasya jadare grasa akshevanam charanam madam. That is, adding addition of a metal or mineral as grasa into the mercury is known as grasasya charana. And next is the dravana, heating process. Last process is the jarana, or that is the heating and reducing. Next is the Gandhaga Charana. So Gandhaga Charana in different proportions is highly important in making mercury potentiated in different ways, especially from a therapeutic point of view. For doing Gandhaga Charana, Ashta Samskarada Parada or Hingulata Parada is taken. If the Gandhaga is taken equal to the quantity of Parada, it will be 100 times more potent than the Shodhita Parada. When it is Diguna, double the quantity of Parada, it is Kushtahara. It can be used for treating Kushta. And when it is Triguna, three times that of a Parada, it is Sarva Vyadhi Vinashana. When it is 1:4 ratio, it is Rasayana. When it is Parada is one part and Gandhara is 5 part, it is Raja Yakshmahara. And when it is 6 part, it is Sarva Rogahara. And the process of jhana is done as place an earthen bowl of suitable size in a Paluga Yandra. Paluga Yandra is used for the purpose of heating, and then an earthen or an iron bowl is placed on a Paluga Yandra. In that bowl, in that patra, the one part of sulfur is purified sulfur is added, and Valuga Yandra, the heat has been given, and when the sulfur melts completely, equal quantity of mercury is added. When liquefied sulfur is reduced, half of the earlier quantity, again you have to add one part of the sulfur again. So now it will be 1:2. That one part of mercury and two part of Gandhara. And in the same way, you have to add the rest of the parada. Up to 6 times when the quantity of the rest of the Gandhaga. First, you have to add the Gandhaga. When the Gandhaga is melted, you have to add the Parada into it. And after that, when the liquefied Gandhaga is reduced into the Parada, or reduced into half of the quantity, you have to add one more part of the Gandhaga. Likewise, you have to add rest of the Gandhaga. So this is the general process. So for the purpose of this Gandhaga Jarana, Ashta Samskarada Parada or Hingulata Parada is taken. The Bubukshita Parada is the apt one. So if it is not available, if you cannot do the Bubukshita Parada, you can go either with the Ashta Samskarada Parada or you can go even Hingulata Parada can be taken. Next is the Jarana order of the Jarana. That is the materials and minerals are added to Parada in a specific order. That is Gandhagam Jariye Purvam. So first Jarana should be done with the Gandhaga. Then that is followed by Ambraga Jarana, which is further followed by Swarna Makshiga Jarana and Swarna, and finally Nagavanga Jarana has to be done. So this is the general order of Jarana. Coming to the types of Jarana. Based on the process, it is Andarmukha Jarana and Bahirmukha Jarana. When it is processed done in an open air, that is in a Valaga Yandra, it is known as Bahirmukha Jarana. And it is done, if it is done in a Stadava Samgoda, it is known as Andarmukha Jarana. Based on the grasa, metal or mineral added to the mercury, it is divided into two. That is and Ghejari Charana. In Bhujari Charana, Jarana is done with the metals and minerals. Ghejari Charana is the process in which the grasa is taken. Grasa is a precious stones, Ratna. Among the Bhujari Charana, that is Jarana done with metals and minerals. If Apraga is taken as a grasa, then it is again divided into three types. That is Bala Jarana, Yuva Jarana, and Vruddha Jarana. In Bala Jarana, the proportion will be 1:2. And Yuva Jarana, it is 1:1. The equal quantity of Abraga and mercury is taken. And Yuva Jarana, it is 1:4 parts of Abraga. Vruddha Jarana is 6 parts of Abraga added to 1 part of mercury. So these are the Bhujari Jarana types. And two types based on the type of mercury is used for the Jarana process. That is Ubhukshita Jarida Parada, that is known as Samugha Jarana. And if it is Ashta Samskara, Ashtadasha Samskara Parada or Singulota Parada, it is Ashta Samskara, not Ashtadasha Samskara, Ashta Samskara is enough. Ashta Samskara and Singulota Parada, it is known as Nirmukha Jarana. So these are the basic things about Jarana types, Jarana process. Next, we will move on to Murchana. Every formulation we are using in Rasa Shastra for a therapeutic with a view to cure a disease or all the formulations which we dispense to the patient is coming under the Murchana. So that is the importance of Murchana. It is considered as a backbone of the Shastra. Parna can be utilized therapeutically only after Murchana. So that is the importance of Murchana. So the definition is Tattat Pradipprabhedena Rasasya Avyabicharada Vyadighadagada Yasya Samada Murchana Budaihi. Tattat Vidipravedena, the process by which mercury and other drugs are processed into suitable formulation so that they can be utilized in therapeutics. Tattat Vidipravedena Rasasya Avyabicharada. So Avyabicharada means the Parada is mentioned in three aspects. That is, Murchita Parada is used in Vyadhinashana purpose. And Baddha Parada is used for moksha. And Bhasmi Bhuta Parada is used for Amaratva. So, apart from all these purposes, it is used, the Parada is processed for the therapeutic purposes. So, that is the meaning of Vyasasya Avyabhijarada. Anegandigatvam vina vyadihadagada. So the parada is processed so that they can be used only for the therapeutic applications. So that is the importance of Murchana. Next is the classification of Murchana. So based on the presence of Gandhaga, based on the Gandhaga as an ingredient, it is divided into two. That is Sagandha Murchana and Nirgandha Murchana. Mercury with Gandhaga is Sagandha Murchana. Mercury without Gandhaga is Nirgandha Murchana. And each of the Sagandha and Nirgandha Murchana is again divided into two types based on the application of heat. That is, Sagandha Murchana is again into Sagni and Niragni, and Nirgandha Murchana is divided into Sagni and Niragni. So in Sagandha Sagni preparation, the examples will be Sindura, Siddhamakara etc. And in Sagandha Niragni, Kajjali is an example. And Nirgandha Sagni, that is Rasa Pushpa and Rasa Karpura. Nirgandha Niragni is a Mugdharasa. And Nirgandha, Sagandha, Moshida yogas are better and safe to administer to a patient for a longer period of time than Nirgandha Moshida Parada. Because when in combination with the Gandhaga, mercury becomes more safer than the Nirgandha Murchana. So it is advocated that to use Sagandha Murchana for if you are intended to use or prescribe the medicine for a longer time, it is good to use a Sagandha Murchana yoga. And these Murchana, based on the method of preparation, these Murchana is again classified into four. That is Gharali Rasayana, Parpadi Kalpana, Potali Kalpana, and Kubibaka Rasayana. And the Kubibaka Rasayanas are the most potent medicines because this is due to the increased duration of Agni Samskara. Kubibaka Rasayanas have the increased longer duration of heat application. So, Kubibaka Rasayanas are the most effective Rasayana Kalpana among the Murchana Kalpana. And when it comes to the difference of Jarana and Murchana, what is the difference of Jarana and Murchana? In Jarana, mercury remains in its original liquid form even after the Jarana process. In Murchana, changes the physical form and it is converted into either Bhasma, either Sindura, or Gudiga, or Parpadi, like any form. So that is the Murchana. So you cannot take the mercury, you cannot recover the mercury from the murchida, that is from the yoga. And weight is remain unchanged in Dharana. Murchana weight changes. The added materials will be the weight of the added materials will be weighed after the process of Murchana. And Dharana, it cannot be used for therapeutics without Murchana. That is the importance of Dharana. Mercury is only therapeutically applicable when it is underwent Murchana process. Even the Jhana process is completed, you have to, even the Jhana, the Shadguna Parijadana is therapeutically effective and it is Sarvaroga. You have to use the Murchana process to convert the mercury into a formulation, into a yoga, so that you can be used to treat the patient. So that is the importance of Murchana. And Jharana is the Dharana, and that is it. These are the differences of Dharana as well as Murchana. So here comes here we ends the discussion of Aushadha Nirmana, basic principles of Aushadha Nirmana in Dasa Shastra. So basic principles of Aushadha Nirmana in Bhaishya Kalpana and Dasa Shastra completed. In Bhaishya Kalpana, we have talked about the basic principles of Aushadha Nirmana as a four different processes, that is from the identification till the packaging of processed packaging of produced drug. So in which we covered the collection, identification, collection of authentic raw materials. We covered the collection practices, and we covered the manam and Saviradavadi and designer formulation and the basic principles of designer formulation and the Panjavida Kashaya Kalpana also. Okay, next we will move on to the last and final topic of the session, that is Apakwa Seva Doshas. So when the basmas are not prepared properly, it will lead to Apakwa Seva Dosha. The clinical complications caused by the intake of improperly prepared basma is known as Apakwa Seva Dosha. Apakwa means improperly prepared. Apakwa. It is not properly pakwa. So that is Apakwa Seva Dosha. So, according to APA, the basma is defined as a powder or substance obtained by calcination. Is called as basma. A properly prepared basma should follow the criteria. The basma pariksha, or should the properly prepared basma should satisfy all the basma parikshas like sakshnatva, nishtandritva, rekha purnatva, vaditaritva, apunarbhava, and niritta. If the basma does not satisfy this criteria, they should not be those basmas are known as impurely prepared basma or apakwa basma. So consumption of this basma will leads to diseases or complications. That is known as apakwa seva dosha. First one is the parada. So parada, we know that the parada doshas are of three types. That is Naisargika, Yogica, and Aupadika. In Aupadika dosha, the doshas are again divided into Bhumija, Girija, Varija, Nagaja, and Pangaja. Based on the dosha, specific diseases are also mentioned. Bhumija will causes Kushta, Girija causes Jaditva, and Jalaja, the Varija dosha will causes Vata Roga, Naga dosha will cause Ummada, and Vanga dosha will cause Mahashula Roga. The management of these, the general management of these diseases are Grida, milk is mixed with the Grida and it is given with the Shodhita Gandaga. The Shodhita Gandaga with milk added with the Grida. With a sufficient quantity of Nagavalli Swarasa, which is given for 2 to 4 days. And Karavalli Mula Swarasa mixed with the water is also given for drinking. Next is the Parada Kushtadi Roga is mentioned, and then general some specific conditions are also mentioned in the Dasa Shastra textbooks, and the management is also mentioned. It is mentioned by Acharya Dasa Vagbadi in Dasratha Samchaya, that is in Udgara, belching. Food processed with the curd, jeeraga, and Krishna Mena is given, and in Anilak Shobha, we have to do the Abhyanga with Narayana Kaila, And in Aradi, sprinkling of cold water over head is mentioned. And Krishna, coconut water or Mudga Yusha added with sugar is given. So these are the four conditions. And in Rasitarangani, further these conditions are elaborately explained. That is, increased body temperature. We have to do the Shida Toya Sega and Chandana Leba over forehead. Increased temperature of chest region. So Avagaha is indicated with cold water. Thick bath. Mentally weak patients. So sometimes the patient can be mentally weak after the intake of rasa preparation. So improperly prepared rasa preparations. So in that case, you can give the anishtapana. Draksharishta as well as Ashtagandharishta can be given. And for burning sensation or increased body temperature, there is a decoction is indicated. That is a decoction which is prepared with the guduji, ushira, dhanyaka, ishti, madhu, parpada, rekta chandani. And the decoction must be given added with the vamshalojana as well as sugar. And there is a Gudiga preparation is also mentioned for burning sensation or increased body temperature. Like Kwada, there is a Gudiga is also mentioned. The Gudiga is prepared by one part of Pravalavasma is taken, one part of Pravalavasma, Vangavasma, Vamshalojana and Guduji Sattva, and 1/4 part of Swarnavasma and Muktavishti. And this compound, these ingredients are titrated with the Kushmanda Swarisa or water. Water can be also used as a liquid medium. And when it is dried, it has to be rolled into pills of 1 to 2 rati dose. And the Alvana will be Kushmanda Smarita. In skin rashes, Gandhaga tried with Nagavalli Kalka plus Tulasi extract is applied over the affected part. So if does a patient develops skin rashes, you can easily do this management. That is Gandhaga tried with the Nagavalli, so Kalka and Tulasi extract. And when it comes to lead toxicity, sometimes in Yaugika dosha, Nagaja dosha is explained, right? So in that, sometimes uh, the store people will add lead as a substituent of mercury. So lead toxicity will be can be expected after giving the rasa medicine. So Karavalli Moolasvarasa administered daily is the management of lead toxicity of Rasavasma Sevana. Improperly prepared Rasavasma Sevana. Next is the Abhraga. So Abhraga, there is three types of Abhraga are the Krishna, Naga and Manduka. Vajrabhraga is the best Abhraga. So Krishna, Naga and Manduka Abhraga will causes the specific diseases like Krishna Braga. Improperly prepared Krishna Braga will be Malabandha, Kushta, Vagandhara, Prameha, and Arsha. Naga, Mandala Kushta causes Mandala Kushta, Maha Kushta. Manduga Braga will causes Manduga Braga causes Ashmari. And the management will be rub the Adasi Bija in Jala and given for drinking. In Amaligi Phala, in extract is given for drinking for 3 days. Amaligi Kalkaleba is also done, and milk with Sita is given. So these are the management of Aparaga. Next is the next Abraga. These are the specific Abraga Lakshanas, specific Lakshanas of these three variants of Abraga. Next is the general Abraga, Apakwa Sevana of Abraga will process Bhada Vidadya Vividam Narana, Hrit Parsho Pide Tanade Nidandam, Shobham Shayam Pandu Gadashta Gushtam. So Bhada Vidadya Vividam Narana, different kinds of diseases will more complications will be occurring after the sevana of apakwa